The upcoming release postponed 2 more weeks and lacks async functions. Is this not our life like every single day? Like, this is a programmer's life, is that what ends up happening is that you promise something, it gets delayed, and it comes out with less features. This is every AAA game release ever created in the universe, okay? And it feels bad. I feel bad. I'm sorry, Andrew. For those that don't know anything about Andrew, if you go on Twitter and you go look for this one tweet I recently just made right here, where Andrew, 15 years ago, asked, how do you open a file in C++? So frustrated by the C++ language, created Zig. Clearly, that's what ended up happening right there. Wild, right? All right, so hi, everyone. I've been saying the upcoming 0.11 release of Zig would have async await suspend resume for 9 months now. You can probably find 10 different places where I promised in writing or in front of a camera that the next release would have this feature. Well, today I'm reneging. Sorry about that. Feel free to be annoyed at me. That's totally fair, given the situation. Yeah, you know what? Can we all just do a feels bad right here? Can we just do a feels bad? Here's the deal. Like, I have great sympathy for this guy in the sense that, first off, shouldering and writing a language is incredibly hard. They want to get rid of the LLVM backend. They want to, so that way you can have your, something a little bit lighter weight. They want to be able to do all these different things, and those are just huge, massive pieces of work in on themselves. And then also just trying to do language features, and async await is not easy, right? You have to have an entire runtime that's like really well done to do it, and people just don't understand a lot of times what goes into this. And then you also just have tooling, right? They wanted to have a package manager as part of 0.11. They wanted to be able to have, better LSP support. They want to be able to have all these things. Like, there's a ton of stuff going on here. And so, feels bad. I do not have a big chunk of work implemented in a branch. Let's see. I do have a big chunk of work implemented in a branch. However, each time I press forward there, I realize that to do things properly, I would need to first switch tasks and improve the code base. This resulted in, for example, the massive intern pool change set, which is mostly invisible to the Zig users but accomplishes these things. Let's just take a look. What do you think? 10,000 lines? No. I really hope that someone just is like, looks good to me. Oh my goodness. There's not a single looks good to me, but look at this. I mean, this is just like impossible work. Like, what are you, like, looks good to me, right? Like, dude, like, no one can review this change. It's literally impossible. So, like, feels bad. This is intern pool 3. There had to be an intern pool 2 and 1 that he got so far into it, he was just like, I gotta start over. This is unrelenting. I feel bad. Feels bad, honestly. And this makes async functions easier to implement, makes semantic analysis more contributor-friendly and less bug-prone, takes a big step towards incremental compilation, further reduces memory requirements of the compiler. These are all really great things, and I'm happy to see all this. Fantastic, right? Even after those changes landed, when I cracked open async function branch again, I was compelled to rework generic function calls. This accomplished more of the same 4 bullet points, but it used up that time I had allocated to work on async functions. And now the release is upon us. This is a strong feels. I could delay the release yet again. However, it is a reality that most real-world Zig projects today do not depend on these experimental features, and the bottom line is that the project will benefit more from releasing now than from waiting until async function support is restored. So the only thing left to do for the releases are type up the release notes. So many release notes. Dear Lord, have mercy on my soul. Triage remaining issues on the 11 milestone. Most of the issues will be punted to 12 or 1.1 or 11.1. Solve the remaining critical issues. That sounds critical. Merge some PRs that have been patiently waiting for my attention. I'm looking at you, 15382. Just a little fun fact. What is this one? Support packs, headers, and GNU long-form name link. Oh, feels bad that someone's done this and it's just been hanging out for weeks. I totally get that. Appreciate your grace in this matter. I don't love failing to deliver a feature that I definitely promised, but I insist that Zig compiler codebase is better off with these changes that we worked on instead. It will be worth it in the end. Sincerely, Andrew. P.S. I'm not on Twitter anymore. My goal is to is to instead channel that microblogging energy into my regular blogging energy on my personal website, as well as this. Okay, this is actually really good. I mean, I would always recommend being on Twitter. I actually tried to find him because I tried to tag him in that tweet I made, and I couldn't find him. The only reason why I recommend doing that is that Twitter is kind of like the top of funnel, right? It's just you to be able to shout into the ether and people to know what's happening. And you don't have to use Twitter. Like, you don't have to be completely engaged on Twitter, right? You can just tweet things. You cannot like anything. You cannot follow it. You don't even have to read any of the timeline. But it's a good, like, little thing. People that say F Twitter and all that, I get it. But you're probably not trying to create a product, right? Here's the deal. People follow people. People want to hear from people. And so if you, the creator of Zig, want people to hear you quick, this is how you do it, right? Threads is garbage. Threads, dude, do you really think Threads is going to take off? Like, did anybody? Here's the deal. Everyone that speaks Twitter's demise coming up and how the next social media platform is going to overtake Twitter, you should just see right through it, right? Okay, can we just stop with the hype cycle just for like a moment? Remember when Mastodons were all flooding in and being like, it's the greatest thing ever, trust us, the Fediverse is going to be the best. And then they realized that they all got a bunch of Reddit moderators moderating their server and reading their DMs. And they're like, well, that's not as good as I once thought it might be. And then most of them came back, right? And then Blue Sky came out, the Twitter killer. And then it just turns out again, it's just a bunch of dummies. And then Threads came out, Twitter killer. But this one only lasted literally for like 3 days. And you can always tell when something doesn't work. You know how you can always tell? Is when people post pictures of them posting on the Twitter killer on Twitter. Okay? That fundamentally means it doesn't work. You don't do that. Okay? If you stop using MySpace, you don't go to MySpace to post about how you are using Facebook on MySpace. Okay? Like, that doesn't, you should just know that. You should just see it coming, right? You leave the platform. Anyway, sorry for that weird rant. It's just so stupid. Anyways, great way to engage people that you may not be able to. But I really like Zig. I really love a lot of the things Zig is doing. If I were to do a project that required C-level type stuff, I would just use Zig, because I think Zig is the truest successor to C, in the sense that it has really great. It's either Zig or Odin. Those are like the true successors to C. Odin is super interesting, geared more towards game programming, a lot of really great niceties. I think Zig did win in a couple categories. I love that they have optionals. I love that they did that, and they actually made it kind of like a, null pointers are actually just optionals, and you really do have to handle it at a syntax level. I really love that they did try and catch, not try catch as in throwing errors, but what Go really needs to do, right? Which is just better error handling. There's a lot of great things about Zig, and you got to appreciate somebody that's spending their life building a language, right? You got to appreciate somebody that started 15 years ago not knowing how to open a file in C++ and now has a very popular, hugely amazing language out there, okay? We all got to appreciate that. Let's appreciate it. Put the respect on there. Great designed language. Great replacement for C. Very impressed. The name is the Primeagen.